like and subscribe. This is Levi Apparel as usual. All right, all right, all right. So, what is going on? What is going on? All right. Oh, my boss apparently gifted me something, which was pretty cool. She gave me I'm a guy, if I get gifted something, like, please make it simple. Don't spend too much, because I'm the type, I'm not into like too much spending and stuff like that when it comes to gift. I like sentimental things that shows value but not expensive. Okay, what is the example? Okay, if you buy me a notebook with a nice message on it, I appreciate that. Why? Because it says the message is more important than really you have to give, which is to say thanks or appreciate you. And that's how I am. You know what I'm saying? Um, Even better, if you really want to be my friend, like, and you know me, and you see me, and you want to say, give me something, and you don't know what to give me, yo, I'm sorry to say, but a mango will do it for me. I love mangoes. Oh man, I love mangoes, especially mangoes from Haiti or Haiti, as you guys call it. Yo, that thing is amazing. So, so yeah, if you're here, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. But yeah, so that's basically what's going on, as far as that front. And yes, got a nice gift, and also a plate carrying thingy. It was amazing. I like it. I like it. So at first I opened it up. I was like, So obviously this holds food, and so it's a container, and I can close it off. So the title is Screen Printing and Tools. Super thanks. Super thank you, whatever. Yeah, so the reason why I went printing is because there's this, right? And this thing is like, ooh, it is nice. The only issue is like it's really, they had to make it in a way to ship it where it's not as big, I guess. I don't have it, but from what I see, it doesn't look like it's more than 11 by 18. So, they're a company, they got to watch out for their packaging and stuff, and also make sure everything's adequate for the price. So, but yeah, man, like this kit is pretty amazing. Like, I was looking at it through the videos and through their own videos, it looked pretty amazing. So, again, this is YouTube. The DIY process is what we believe in, and how we can do what the large companies are doing with the machine, but at a smaller cost, and maybe by tweaking it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So what I saw was them basically not recreating the wheel, but improving it. You know what I'm saying? That to me was beautiful. That to me was beautiful. So basically, they took the regular screen printing process, and they did what I've been doing. Right? I don't know what they use, but pretty much you can do that with vinyl, right? And the best part is you can do it even bigger. So if you've seen my, especially in the video, what you see on the video for the stencil is HTV on a screen. Now, as I've said before, when you're doing screen printing, a lot of times you have to go through all these extra process just to get one screen, two screen, three screen, four screen, or whatever. Right? So I'm gonna introduce you to screen printing, the process of screen printing, You know what, bro? You want to get in? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Get in. I know you do. You like literally right on the back of that car in the other lane. Just get in. You don't have to brake. Just get in front of me. You got access. Man, these people. I guess not. Man, this guy who apparently was tailgating somebody else, and they were like right beside me. So I'm like, you know what? There's pretty much not many people in front of me. The car that's in front of me has distance between his car, and I don't have much cars behind me. Let me just slow down a little bit to let him in. I flashed them to get in. I honked them to get in, and this guy didn't want to get in. Apparently, maybe he's following the person or something like that, right? They didn't want to get in, so whatever. Yeah, I hate when cars tailgate other cars because it makes no sense. If that person brakes suddenly, like now you're causing a problem for yourself and the other people behind you for no reason. You know, whenever I drive, I like to see the people's tire and give at least not a car's distance, but as close to it as I can, as far as like the book would say. And then that way, if for any reason, like, you know, if I was normally, you know, regular drive, whatever, and something happened and I brake, at least I know by the time that person brake, they're going to move forward a little bit and then have time to stop. And then I'm going to move forward a little bit and have time to stop. But just in case it's not possible, I can always tilt to the side and I'm good, you know? So I just like to, you know, do my thing. But anyways, back to what I was talking about, screen printing. I got diverted to something else. So when you're doing screen printing, right, the whole process of screen printing starts like this. When I'm doing screen printing, first thing I do the day before, I set up. How do I set up? Before I even do artwork, I take all my screens, I put emotion on it, front and back process, right? Emotion is a photo, dang it, I forgot how to say it. But anyways, it's the emotion, right? Follow the instruction, it'll tell you how to properly use it and all that stuff, right? But yeah, you take the screen, you coat the screen front and back, and then after that, it's good to have a rack that you either set up or you purchase. So now, and you make sure like there's no light coming in and out, and you can store it for next day, future use, or whatever. Some screens you can leave up to a month. Other screens you can leave longer, depending on what your emotion is and what your emotions say, and also the temperature you have in your shop, right? So yeah, so that's the coating process, right? After that, you let it dry. The drying process, all this can happen in a day, by the way, but it takes some time, right? So now the emotion is drying up, right? And also it depends on what kind of emotion you have. Some are faster than others, right? I know mine used to take at least 20 to 30 minutes for everything to at least I would have oh my gosh, these scam most likely. Yeah, and hold on one second. What's going on here? All right, so screen printing. Yeah, so then you're done with the emotion, like you let it dry. Put it somewhere, let it dry. Now, it's good to coat as many screens as possible, because if you're primarily screen printing for your start for business, meaning this is what you want to do only, You want to code as many screens as possible that you have available to you, because if you get any calls, you don't want to have to go through the process of coding screens and leaving it to dry. That's just going to take time, right? So now you're done with the coding process. The next step is artwork. Artwork. You can do each one how you want, right? But artwork. Okay, so artwork. How does the artwork fit into all this, right? So now you go to your system that you use for artwork, right? Right? It could be anything. Adobe Illustrator, Corel Draw, but you want to get artwork that's more made for screen printing. Like, I mean, a software that's more made for screen printing, right? Software like Separation Studio, these are really good. But if you're just starting, Separation Studio is like a lot of money, and it's very professional. So that's usually where to go. But if you're just starting, the best situation is when I was doing screen printing. At first, I went to GIMP. The thing I like about GIMP is there's no thinking about it. If you have, but it depends on the artwork you have. Whatever artwork you have, all GIMP is gonna do is just separate the colors, and that's it. It's gonna leave it in whatever pixel you have it. And so you want to give GIMP the best artwork possible. Also in that software, you can increase it, lower it, change colors, try to pick up other colors, right? So GIMP will allow you to do image separator, right? If you don't have money for those fancy art separators software, right? Another one you can use is I think I mentioned earlier, which is Adobe, right? Some people use Photoshop, some people use Illustrator, but either way, it's Adobe. So when you go to use the Adobe, what ends up happening is like you're able to rasterize the image where you turn it all black and white, and then you can turn it into like little granules, whatever. And from there, like I don't use it. That's why I'm like very vague about it. I've tried to use it. I've seen the tutorials, but I don't like it. In my opinion, some people love it, and some people are able to work it like nothing. You know what I mean? But I use Corel. When I first started, I was told Corel is the best artwork separator for screen printing and designing different logos and stuff like that, and that's what I use, right? So yeah, so use those softwares to just do that, right? But you have GIMP, which is free. You have Corel Draw, which is not that expensive. The new one's a little bit more expensive, but you have monthly memberships, right? But you can easily buy it out. You know what I mean? It's not super expensive, and you don't have to stick with the old model. You can go, I mean, the new model, you can go back and try to purchase the old model. And there's tons of videos to learn whatever model you have, right? So the next process is this, right? What's next? Yeah, when it comes to Photoshop is a little bit more expensive than Corel. There's a lot of tools that you can use, and it's made for like professionals, like you got movie makers using Adobe, you know, Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop to do all these different things. Also the different Adobe software, like that. Adobe is just, they're crazy with it. Like they're ill. If you can learn to use Adobe for your screen printing, you good. You're good. Next is artwork that's made simply. I mean, software that's made simply for screen printing, and that is the Separation Studio, right? Amongst many that exist out there, but Separation Studio is the one that I know to be, in my opinion, the top. Like, you don't get more professional than Separation Studio. The thing just, it does everything for you. The minute you put the artware, and I think also you need Adobe or Corel, one of those. No, you need Adobe to have Separation Studio because it's part of the Adobe add-on or something like that. I don't know. Either way, Separation Studio already has everything preset. And then once you have it set up, you're good to go. So now when you lay the artwork in Separation Studio, it's crazy. Like, the thing already separates everything for you. And all you do is you just go back and just tune it up and make it to what you want. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's Adobe. That's Separation Studio. All right, cool. So artwork is done, right? Emotion is done, artwork is done. Next, you wanna each image, each color that's in the image printed, right? I try to stick to two to three colors, and I don't like when everything is merged together. I'm not what you call a super professional. This is all I do every day. I have other printing methods so I can avoid difficulty in screen printing, and this is where tools come in. But we'll talk about that later after I explain screen printing. So now you need to get yourself some film. There's something called screen printing film, and the screen printing film, the way they work is this: after you've designed your artwork and separated all the color, you're gonna turn every single color into black, right? The darker the black, the better when it comes to film. What I tend to do, which is not really recommended, usually when I do screen printing, I don't do it with like, I don't do the rasterization stuff. I like solid colors, merge it together. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you turn it into that, from afar, you see the image pretty much looks the same, but I like seeing the colors being solid. You know what I'm saying? I don't like seeing little dots on my stuff. Like, I like just straight solid colors. I'm used to vinyl, so when I screen print, I like seeing it looking similar to vinyl. You know? So, but I have tried to rasterize before, and this is way back before I started the YouTube channel. I used to just do screen printing all the time because that's all I knew. Yeah, so now, the film, you print out the image of each color in black, and then this is where it's good that you already did the whole emotion process on the screen frame, because now you take out your screen frame, you put the image on top of it, because by then it should be dry. And then once actually you need something. I also sell this on my website. If you want it, let me know. So what it is a screen printing alignment tool, and all it is like you put it on your platen, and once you have it on your platen, you align your screen according to whatever screen is on there, and there's guides to help you, and you just put your film on there. Once you put your film on there, what happens next is you want to put double tape, right? Both sides. And when you put double tape on the image, you align the image, everything is good to go. You take your scene that has the coding, the emotion on it, right? And you basically put it down. You put it on the screen printing machine, and then you put it down. You align everything the way you want it. You put it down, and after that, it'll pick it up. Once it picks it up, the other frames with the films. Once you have everything lined up and you're ready to go, the next process is you need to get yourself what is called a or there's another name for it, photo emulsion box, right? You need photo emulsion light, and what that does is this, right? So the diaso, I think it's called, emulsion. What it's made of is it's a photo light sensitive. So when you, not just any light, it's screen printing light. When you put screen printing light, and that there's a big difference. Check out screenprinting.com, right? I'm not familiar with them, but check them out. They have all the kits that you need so you can start your screen printing process. Or you could just go on Amazon and just type in screen printing kit, and they'll have the whole kit for you, right? And photo emulsion lights, and you'll find out that it'll have the whole photo emulsion machine with the lights for you. Everything's all set. You can utilize that. Now, when it comes to using the light for the frame, you just put the frame on there that has the film already, right? Place it down. On the back, you want to put like something black just to that you want to put something on top of the image just to weigh it down. You know what I'm saying? Do you have to? No, you don't have to. But it helps in making that, they call it contact with the light, to be a little bit greater, so that way you can, when you remove the film, you'll have that area you can hose down, right? And I'm going to explain that whole process, right? So after you're done taking out the frame from the photo emulsion lights, right? Or the light, whatever, right? I'll get the name for you later on. And I'm gonna do a full how to screen print using the old-fashioned way, like, and then we'll talk about the new-fashioned way. So I'm just talking about the old-fashioned way right now, and then we're gonna move on to a more advanced way, which is gonna bring you to the X tool to explain to you what the hell, I mean, what is going on, right? So now you've screen printed, and you notice, you've removed the frame off of the light, right? And there's a set time that you have to put it. I'm not gonna tell you what time. In the beginning, the light I was using, it took me, I'd say 10 minutes for each screen to and a screen for each screen frame with what do you call it, film, right? So once you remove that within the amount of time that you allow it to stay there, right? And there's videos on it on YouTube all over the place. Oh, excuse me. So what ends up happening is this: you are now able to remove the film. Once you remove the film, there's going to be like a shadowy figure in the background of, the film is going to leave what is called like a shadow in the background in the frame. And all you do is first you spray it with with water, right? You leave it alone. The reason why you spray it with water and you leave it alone is because even though you've removed the frame, the film, the photo emulsion process is still going on, and it gets to a point where it may harden a little bit more than you want it to. So you want to stop that from happening immediately by spraying it with a little bit of water. And then what ends up happening is you let it sit for a few seconds, and then it stops. And then after that, you come back with the hose or water or whatever you want to do, and then you just remove all that excess emulsion that's there in the image. And then what you have in the background is a screen with emulsion that's hardened outside of your image. And pretty much your image is an inverse of what you want to put on your screen, on your shirt, right? So then once you're done with that, the water is done, You have the image. Now you have two options. You either dry it with a regular fan, leave it out to dry by itself, air dry, or you can put it out in the sun so it can dry and harden, so it could give you that maximum strength and durability that you want. Or you can just put it right back in the light box. It's up to you, right? I call it the light box. It's a real name for it. Yeah, so now once that happens is you have a frame with an image encased around it is photo emulsion. And that's pretty much a screen printed frame. That's how you get through that process, right? Each one of these processes take time. It will not happen in seconds. The only thing that may happen in seconds is is after the photo emulsion has hardened and you put your film on that for the artwork. That may take a few seconds, but every other process is going to take some time, right? So now you have the you have the frame ready. You put it on the screen printing machine, right? You load it on, and then you have to do what's called alignment. You have to align the artwork and see the ratio of how it is and how far it is, and see when you're screen printing on it, right? Oh, back step. Okay, I'm saying too much all at the same time. Yeah, so now you go backwards, right? Well, I'm going backwards. So, okay, you have the frame, it's loaded on the screen printing machine, the image is on there. Now, what you do is you have to load in a shirt, right? Once you load in a shirt that you're not using, don't use the shirt from the artwork, from the project that you need, because you may need a shirt in case you mess up. So now you take a shirt that you don't need and you just screen print on it, right? And all that is basically this. You take ink. First, you mix the ink nicely so it can be nice and creamy, right? No matter what ink you have, always mix it, unless it said not to. Then take the ink, load it on the screen with a spatula. Once you load it on the screen, now you do your print test, right? That's if you went, I forgot to say in the beginning, always put registration mark on your artwork unless you're doing one art piece per shirt or one art piece and no multicolors, right? So yeah, so now let's say you already have your alignments. Your alignments, all is just a plus or like an X, and all you do is if you have multiple screens, when you're screen printing, each time you lay ink will be in the same exact place of that X that you put on every screen, and that shows you how aligned you are, right? So now let's move forward to the screen printing process. So your test is done, right? You've already tested. Now you load the shirt, and then you push the squeegee. But before you push the squeegee, you gotta flood the squeegee. Flooding, all it is just making sure the area that's supposed to have the image has ink on it. You don't push down, you just gently push the ink around that area so it can have ink fully on it. And then you either pull or you push forward so the ink can, that's when you put the screen down on the shirt. So now the image, the ink you push or pull is on the image. And then once that happens, you have yourself your first screen printed shirt sample, right? Or if you like it, you not do another shirt, don't forget to cover your registration marks after you've done your sample and if you like it. Now you just screen print and then that's it. You can keep loading shirts, screen print with that same artwork. Once you've loaded and you set it, it's forget it until you do another artwork in another screen printing process. So that's screen printing in a nutshell. But you see how many steps you took just to get the ink on the shirt? This is the problem that people have and why they tend to stay away from screen printing. As a matter of fact, if you don't screen print correctly, your push or your pull, if you don't do it right and you don't have the right angle, you may be pushing too much ink on the shirt, which messes up your shirt every time you screen print. And that extra ink will collect on the side, on the bottom of the image, away from the image, where you will now have what's called, there's a name for it, I keep forgetting. You will now have like ink sediments, no, not sediments, just ink, random ink on a shirt. And now this is when you, too much detail, but anyways, you'll have extra ink on a shirt. So you want to understand the screen printing process and not mess up, right? But here's the key. Once you start screen printing and you start understanding the process, the next 2, 3, 4, 5, before you know it, 100 jobs gets a lot easier, right? And then your process gets a little bit more mechanical, and you get to put systems in place. And next thing you know, you're able to screen print with no problem. And this is why a lot of screen printers stray away from getting DTF machines, stay away from getting what's it called, white toners. What else? They don't do heat transfers. When I say heat transfer, I'm saying the ones that they don't make. They don't bother with DTG, because even though the process may be long, if you have a system and you always have screens ready to go, and you always have you have really good artwork software, then for you screen printing is easy. But the beginning, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but you stick with it. Now you know how to screen print, right? Let's get into a little bit more mechanics with screen print that you want to use for shortcuts. So you can't afford separation studio, you get GIMP. That'll separate everything, and then you make a frame film with the artwork, and you're done, right? Now, sometimes you do your artwork, and when you go to water it out to remove the emotion, you're like, what the heck? The emotion not coming out. It's not coming out. It's because your film is not dark enough, right? Remember, everything is printed in white. Your white has to be opaque white, so no light gets through it. Because the way emotion works is this: if light can pass through it, the light will harden the emotion. If light can't pass through it, the emotion will be soft. And then that's when you're able to remove it, right? Now, this is where I've learned the process. And it's like anything. If you learn a rule, you can learn how the rule works and see if you can go around it. So you say to yourself, man, this is a long process. Is there another way? And you just get the X tool. X tool, all I have to do is just throw it on my machine. And once I throw it on my machine, all I need to do afterwards is just add ink, push or pull. I'm done, right? So this is where Excel has, in a way, revolutionized screen print, creating this process, right? But I don't know. To me, it just looks like hard vinyl that is allowed to be stretched enough that it can be cut and an image can be on there, and it doesn't lose its elasticity and doesn't mess up the image. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. It could be because they could have it with where they have it set up the image with a backing that is like a mesh in a way, so it can't be stretched out. So in other words, it could just be a coated mesh. You know what I'm saying? With whatever they coat it with. It's not meant to go on shirts, so they don't have to make the back sticky or anything. So they're fine. It's basically, it's in my opinion, this is the equivalent of brick vinyl that married a mesh and had a baby. That's called a screen printing uh, vinyl, I guess. And that's my opinion. I don't know what it's made of. I don't know their secret or whatever. But guess what? You can do that same process, right? I gotta hurry up because I gotta call my friend. You can do that same process. How? Listen, if you have a vinyl cutter, which you should, if you have a press, which you should, right? And this is the reason why you have many tools in your arsenal, because guess what? You can try to get the printer to print 100 prints. Yeah, it'll try to print 100 prints, but eventually it's gonna run out of ink, right? If you want to do 100, 200 shirts, don't count on your machine. Don't count on your machine, because your machine is gonna run out of ink, especially if it's one color. Oh man, you're done for. So the best process is screen printing. Now you got one color, two color, even four color. I'm gonna try and master screen print enough that I can do four color using vinyl. And I've coined the term vinyl screen printing, HTV vinyl screen printing, right? In my opinion, right? Maybe others have already used that method, but now in the industry, usually for screen printing with vinyl, they usually use the sticky vinyl, which is a no-no. Why? Because the sticky vinyl does not stick onto the mesh like you think. Eventually it comes out. Why? Because the ink has water in it, or is slippery enough that as you're screen printing, it takes only one little bit of ink to get underneath that vinyl for it to now not be sticky. So if you notice on the two screen printing frame that I have is black, that's black vinyl. So what I did was I bought like a whole bunch of black vinyl, right? Amazon, that people say is cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna put it on a shirt. So what I do is I take the vinyl and I use it so I can cut it out, right? And when you're doing vinyl screen printing, you don't cut it out mirror. You cut it out as it looks. And I'm gonna tell you why later. When you cut it out as it looks and you put it on the screen, on the front of the screen, right? Is it the front? I forgot. Either way, check out my, oh, sorry about that. Check out my video. It'll tell you. But anyways, did I put it in the front? Yeah. I put it on the front. I did not mirror it, leave it the same, put it on the front, right? So when you put it on the front and you don't mirror it, is it mirrored? Anyways, check out my video. I'm going to talk more about this because I got to look at my own process, because sometimes it gets tricky because you can put it on top and on the bottom. I prefer to put it on the, so screen printing, there's two methods that's used when it comes to the frame, right? The frame that you can put your hand in, put it inside, and it's surrounded by wood, right? That's, I think, a few inches deep. That's called the, hold on one second, man, this light is bright. So that part is called the flood zone, right? That's the flood zone. The front where that goes on top of the shirt, that is called the image, right? I mean, that's where the image is, you know? But either way, use that process and there you go. The difference between that and what Xtool has is this, right? They have a limited amount of space that they're using. But guess what? If you have a screen printing machine and you take vinyl, you screen print, I mean, you cut it out, you heat press it on your vinyl, I mean your frame, and it's easy. I have a video on it. What ends up happening is you now have a screen printed vinyl frame, HTV vinyl frame, that you can use anytime you want. If you want, you can just put it aside, or if you don't want, because remember, and also what I do is I utilize the reusable method with screen printing frames. I don't buy a screen where it's just solid and I can't do anything to it, and all I can do is just use it and wait until it's too like it's not tough enough, it's loose, and then I throw it away. No, what I do is I create my own screen. Well, what I do is I create my own mesh process, and when I'm done with that artwork, I remove it, put another one in there, and I reuse that same screen as much as I want, and I don't have to ever worry about getting a new we call it frame. That's what I do. Right now I'm converting my process from wood to metal screens. I've gotten some metal screens from Ryanette, and it's been pretty good, right? Oh damn, my time's up. All right, so yeah, so basically you can do that with HTV vinyl. The same process, even bigger, right? But I'm not knocking them. Please do go ahead, use that method that they have, because obviously if you have the X tool and you don't have a vinyl cutter, right, it makes sense for you to use it. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a company that's pride themselves and has perfected their artwork. But I'm just giving you a way where, you know, if you're not able to afford the X tool, but you have a screen printing machine already, and you're looking at this like, dang, you know, maybe I should get one of those. Man, just take some vinyl and slap it on your screen. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have the reusable screens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's basically screen printing with vinyl in a nutshell, and then using the tools that you have to create more money for you and waste less time. Now, what is the time difference? If you take the vinyl, you cut it out, right? After you're done with the artwork, you take the vinyl, you cut it out. You can even do multiple artwork. Take the vinyl, cut it out. Each screen now has their own vinyl ready to go, right? It'll take you maybe 2 minutes to create let's say 4 minutes to create 4 vinyl cutouts for each screen. You heat press it, that'll take maybe 30 seconds, right, per screen, right? So that's like what, 2 minutes? And then you just throw it on the screen, you're ready to go. Same day, less than half an hour. Less than half an hour, you got a screen ready to go. Or you got screens ready to go. Now you can do your test prints if you put registration on it because you have multiple. Or if you have just one, you just push and go, and that's it. Or pull and go, whatever your method is. You know what I'm saying? So that's the screen printing process using HTV vinyl to make screen printing a lot faster. And I gotta do more videos on that, but I already have videos on that. Like and subscribe. This is Levi Apparel. Gotta hit up my friend. Peace.